So yes, um, the new neighbors moved in, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember his name, but his name was Leonard. Leonard. He actually had the same name as my father, Leonard. It took me a whole. I kept thinking, what was his name? What was his name? What was his name? And his name is Leonard. See, Leonard was the neighbor's oldest son, and he was dark skinned, and he was a very handsome young man. And my sister was like head over heels with him because he had the same name as my father. And we were missing our parents. We was missing our father and our mother. So her and Leonard began to secretly date, if that's what they want to call it. They were secretly going behind buildings and going to meeting up places and actually having sex. Like one time they met in a between a church and a factory that was on the opposite side of the street where we lived. It was like our street was here, and on this side it was other buildings and stores. So this factory, it was between a building and a factory, and they were over there having sex. And me and my little sister was the lookout, and his sister Ellie was the lookout. And that went on for a while. Her and that young man was having sex for a while until she had an STD, which they kept saying. At that time, I didn't know it was an STD. They kept saying that she had a yeast infection. And I was like, what the hell is a yeast infection? I thought yeast was the powder that my aunt used to make bread. But she was still going away with Danny, her abuser. Every time he came and he felt like he wanted her to go with him somewhere, the excuse was always, oh, I need her to help me do this. I need her to help me do that. But they knew what it was. Because I knew what it was. But I think that's why they turned a blind eye to her dating this young man, because they were only like 12, maybe 11 or 12 years old. And they let her be with this kid, allegedly in secret. It wasn't in secret. I don't know. They didn't want outsiders to find out. And they didn't want his mother to find out. His mother just thought it was, some little puppy love stuff. But no, miss, I don't know if you're alive. I don't know if you could hear me or whatever the case may be. My sister was having sex with your son. And they were only 12 years old. And my family turned a blind eye because they were up to something. And that something was, she had contracted an STD from her abuser, and they blamed it on this young man. They blamed it on his breath for years. They kept saying it was because of his breath that she could have got the STD. And I'm thinking, what? As a child, I didn't understand all of that. But yes, her target now became Leonard, the next door neighbor's kid. And no one did anything. That's why I don't understand how everyone's turning a blind eye to all of this abuse that's happening to children. And it's been going on for years. And I'm not going to say I understand, because no one should understand this. There should be no understanding when it comes to children being accosted into having intercourse with each other or with an adult. That's crazy. You should be arrested and sent away. And I know during antebellum some things happened, which I'm not even going to discuss that. But yes, they turned a blind eye to her being molested and then her being sexually active with boys her age, regardless of whether it was cousins or not. And then after a while, they started sending her away. She started joining these people named Jim and Judy that worked with the Children's Television Workshop at that time. They were like on the public television stations. They, I think they were like artists behind the scenes. And she would go and stay with them for some time, maybe during the school break, the summer or winter break or whatever. And when she came back, she was a little calmer. And then after a while, after 5 years, we moved to another home. But prior to that, so much happened. So much happened. I miss Mbe. Come back and dialogue with me. Come back and listen to my story. Help me express how I felt all those 10 years being kidnapped. Come and be my talk therapy.